So if there is one thing I have noticed about many incoming college students, it is their difficulty with the writing process. I think a large part of this has to do with not having a lot of opportunities to write while in high school. The ability to excel in writing is a key component of academic success. That's why the Virtual University Initiative has developed this series on the writing process. Part 1 of this series will explore the major types of academic writing and introduce the initiation of the writing process. Although there are many different types of papers or essays, you can probably categorize them into 4 broad categories: expository, analytical, argumentative, and narrative. These categories may have different goals, but are quite similar in form and academic requirements. Now, an expository paper typically presents the views and the opinions of others. It reports about an event or situation, withholding the writer's own opinion or view. Expository papers may analyze and explain specific components of the event or situation. Analytical papers break down situations, events, or ideas into their component parts. These parts are then evaluated and presented and explained in an organized fashion. So an argumentative paper takes a stand about a particular situation, event, or idea. It then presents specific evidence to support or justify that stance. Argumentative papers attempt to convince the reader that the stance taken is correct or at least logical or plausible. A narrative paper tells a story about a personal experience. It is written from the writer's point of view. So regardless of the type of paper you are required to write, the process starts with the development of an idea. Let's say you are required to write a paper on the impact of professional sports in American society. This topic is clearly very broad. Your first task is to narrow the topic to something workable. You don't really follow professional sports, but you have to write this paper. So you start thinking about the topic. You remember how your uncle, who is an electrician, just finished working on the construction of the new stadium in your hometown. You laugh thinking about your little cousin playing pee-wee football. You notice how some of your friends like to buy and wear throwback jerseys of their favorite pro athletes. You read a couple of newspaper articles about professional athletes abusing drugs. Last year, you saw a movie about a young athlete's rags to riches story. Based on these thoughts, you develop a short list of things you might write about. You decide that professional sports' impact on the economy and adolescent development interests you the most. What you have done is taken some time to think about the writing assignment, relate it to your interest or experiences, and then transform a very broad topic into more specific areas of exploration. Your paper is beginning to take shape. So now you are ready to write a preliminary outline. The outline represents the rough beginning of your paper and should reflect its general direction. This preliminary outline will guide the next step, which is research. Depending on learning styles, some may prefer to use a different outlining technique. This is a mind map. This technique does not confine students to the very linear, traditional outline. With this technique, content may be added in any order and subtopics more easily revisited. Students who prefer seeing all concepts at once or think in pictures may prefer to outline their papers this way. You are now able to formulate a preliminary thesis. The thesis is the main idea or central point of the essay. You decide that your thesis is that even though professional sports significantly impacts the economy, it has an invaluable effect on adolescent development. A preliminary thesis is crucial to guiding the research phase of the writing process. Depending on the topic, you will likely use a variety of research sources: newspapers, journal articles, books, personal interviews, and others. Your school or public library may grant you access to professional electronic databases. Using these databases, you can enter keywords and review full-text articles that may help support your thesis. Probably the most important part of starting the writing process is time management. You really shouldn't wait until just a few days before the paper is due to begin the process. The steps reviewed in this video can start as soon as you know what the assignment is. Your early understanding of the type of paper you are required to write, narrowing the topic based on your interests and experiences, sketching out a preliminary outline, formulating a thesis, and initiating research will go a long way in ensuring a successful result. The other videos in this series will provide more specifics about writing that great paper.